Well, thank you so much for what you're doing, and to add some light to some of the pioneers, because without the pioneers, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. That we stand on their backs.
Praise
And
be to Allah. Yes, sir.
brother,
Okay, great. All right, and we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us tonight, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Minister Lee Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Yes, sir. He has an extensive amount of history that we're going to get into, and I want to thank him. And I want to thank also shout out to the IT man for assisting us, our brother, for helping us put this together so we can record this history. Yes, sir. So the first question that we have for you, Brother Minister, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I first heard the teaching October the 17th, 1981. It was at the National Guard Armory in Brooklyn, New York. And I drove there to hear the minister. And the lecture was Time and What Must Be Done. I'll never forget, October the 17th, 1981. And he was in the process of rebuilding the work of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And you were in Brooklyn, and so you're from New York?
Yes, sir. No, I'm not from New York.
Oh, you just was there.
Brother Karriem was the minister in Mosque number 7, was Temple number 7 at the time.
Yes, sir.
1110 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. And he and I are cousins. And so once I heard the minister, I called him and told him to let me know when he's going to be anywhere, because I wanted to be there to see him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was a guitar player. And, at the time, I'd done a whole lot of things that guitar players do, so I needed some help.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Now, and Sister Audra says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. My sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum. And people are showing you a lot of love on Facebook. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube, Brother Minister, so more people can record this history. And please let us know what city you're from on YouTube so that we can make sure that we acknowledge you all as well from all over the country, hearing this great history. Brother Minister, so when did you accept the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
October 17, 1981.
You accepted it.
Yeah, when I tell you, brother, I knew who he was the minute I heard him. I knew who he was then. I got a tape from my sister of Divine Warning to the Hypocrites, Detroit, Michigan. And I played that tape and played it. This had been in 1980. I could go over this tape without even listening to it because I had played it so much. And so all I wanted to do was see this man. And that was when I got my first chance to see him. And, they set me in some kind of dignitary or something. And I was sitting behind him. I couldn't get to look in his face, but man, I tell you, it opened my eyes to a whole lot of things. And I saw Black people for my first time being what I thought they should be. I mean, so it gave me a new inspiration altogether. And so they told me, say, when you go back home, you take the teaching with you. I said, no, man, I don't know whether I can do that because I'm not doing all the way right, I'm just not. I hadn't even put my guitar down. So I said, y'all might need to send somebody else, but they say, you going back, you take it. And all the way down that road, I knew what I had to do. I had to try to, help Minister Farrakhan to uplift the name of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So there was a brother there named Brother John, and he had a brother-in-law in Charlotte named Brother Jerry, and he gave me his number, and I came back and I looked up Brother Jerry. He didn't live no piece from me hardly at all. And so we took off. We just took off, just us two brothers, to, do what we had to do for organizing the study group. So there were so many people, everybody who hooked on. It was joining the study group, joining the study group, joining the study group. And I would, I don't want to take the credit for doing what I did, because if it hadn't been for Allah, His messenger, Mr. Farrakhan, and those people who were with me, it wouldn't have got done. But, it just proves that Allah is God, because He can take a old country boy like myself and get something done,
Oh, praise to Allah. Yes, sir. And this is in 1981. You go back to South Carolina, where specifically in South Carolina, Bro Minister?
I'm from a city named Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Okay.
Right across the border. It's probably about, if I was to drive where I was born, it would take me 31 minutes. That also is where Brother Karriem is from as well. I don't know where you know Brother Karriem.
Yes, sir, I'm familiar.
He's in New Jersey now, Plainfield, New Jersey. And that's where he's from as well, Rock Hill. I'm not from Charlotte, but I've been here for 61 years. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And okay, how did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teachings?
Brother, well, I had a brother and a sister already in the teaching. My brother, he was under the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, back that time. And then I had a sister that lived with him, and both of them were members of the Plainfield Mosque. So once I came into the teaching, I never will forget. My father used to raise hogs, and so I was a person who helped him to butcher the hog. And that last year, I told him, I said, Dad, I ain't gonna be able to help you to kill no more hogs, because we ain't supposed to let our hand be on these things. And if somebody had told me, he never raised another hog. He never did raise a hog. That was in 1981, had been November when they killed a hog. And I don't think anyone ate the hog. They had to throw the hog away. It's almost like a whole lot of people, a whole family just accepted to do something. There might not been assalamu alaikum, this all that kind of stuff, but they knew that it was something to it. So,
great. All praises to Allah.
All praises definitely due to Allah.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, what was it like for you meeting the Most Honorable Minister Farrakhan? What was that like?
I knew who I had met, When I heard the tape, I said, that's him, that's him, that's him. I knew who he was right there. You didn't have to tell me, I knew we would, when I was a little boy, we had pictures of the white Jesus on the wall. My mother did. And I never will forget. She had this one picture on the wall of Jesus, that Jesus supposed to be hanging on the cross. And the Roman soldiers was playing dice. They said something about for his clothing or something. And I always used to look at that picture and I said, we ain't got a chance, man. And kill the only man that was, come to help us. But then when I saw Minister Farrakhan, I thought, no, that's the man to help us. So I lit in to help him. That's all I want to do was help him.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Yes, sir. And some people are showing you love on Facebook and in the comments. My next question is, what was it like working with your cousin, Minister Karriem, in the early days, man, to help establish Islam in North America, reestablish it?
Well, it was truly a blessing, and he helped us. He sent 3 brothers down here, Brother Eric, Brother Kenneth, and there was another brother, Brother Kenneth, and Brother Timothy. Those 3 brothers came down, and they stayed here, and they helped, with the soldiering and everything, just putting out flyers and selling papers and all this. So we had help. I don't know, the brotherhood seemed like it was a little more solid than I see it now. Might be my thinking, but brother, the love in the mosque and the love of the nation was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And so you felt this love, and all you could do was just operate off of this love. It was just like fuel in your tank. And just to feel that love. FOI, you said, man, why do we have to stop?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
You said, oh Lord, why do we have to stop? But you had to stop because the sisters had to come in and have MGT, and then most of the brothers will go out soldiering, and whoever was holding posts would hold posts. But man, it was just, the love was something else I never will forget. The first time I saw somebody put out was for going to the movie. Back then, we couldn't go to the movie back then, no. And somebody had been seen coming out of the movement, and that Wednesday night that you got put out, and it was worse than any funeral that I ever been to. Crying, and I mean, it was almost like you had to, haul some of the sisters out of there. I think they were out, maybe, I forget how many months, but when they come back, well, you talking about a feast. Oh man, you talking about having a party.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Praise the Lord.
That's, you just picture how it feels for the brotherhood and the sisterhood to be that strong. Well, that's how strong it was. Somebody get put out, you just getting put out for a couple of months. You ain't got to be, it's almost like somebody dying.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Like somebody was dead. It was nice, brother. It was nice.
Yes, sir. Well, okay, well, Minister Lee, during the early days in that time, did you ever face fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
I don't know about too much fear, because I've always wondered what it would be like if it come down to where maybe I lost my life. But this, I faced it once or twice in Charleston, South Carolina. Brother Sharif was the captain, and he and the person was having some bad words, and I've never seen that many police. I've never looked down. All you could see was guns in your face. And I said to myself, well, I reckon that's how I go out. But whoever I touch, I'm taking him out.
Allahu Akbar.
And so the brothers, they stood these people off. And after a while, the police just packed up and cursed 3 or 4 times and left.
Beautiful, yes, sir.
And I'm gonna tell you something, brother. Going into Charleston was at Minister Farrakhan's request. We were at his house eating dinner, and he looked over there and he said, Brother Lee. Then he said, you know, if I had it hooked up in some parts of West Virginia, I don't remember, he said, and if I had Charleston, South Carolina, we'd have it hooked up coast to coast. Can you handle Charleston, South Carolina? I said, yes, sir. And when we came out of the minister's house, Dr. Aleem said, move into Charleston, report to me Wednesday night. I said, yes, sir. And we went on into Charleston and set up this event for Dr. Aleem to speak there. And that was the beginning of one of our last study groups in North and South Carolina. The brother named Dennis was the study group coordinator there. But brother, I never knew so much history was in Charleston. The house where Denmark Vesey lived, we would, go and see it. The house where Denmark Vesey was caught, we would go and see it. The slave market, all of these slave markets where they would put the slaves in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At that time, you could go to the auction block, and it was open. It was about maybe 4 feet high, and maybe about an 8 by 8. And the steps where you walk up on the auction block to auction the slave off. And when you touch this block for the rest of the day, it gave you a feeling you would come away with one of the worst, feeling that you had ever had. And this feeling would last on you the rest of the day. I mean, and it had to be the spirit of our ancestors when you touched the auction block. And they boarded it up because they knew evidently that there was some kind of connection in there. And next door was the bank that you go to pay for the slave that you done bought. And the building was made from the bricks that was made on Boone Farm, the Boone Farm plantation. The streets was made from the bricks. And they had the old buck wagon. I don't know where you ever heard your father talk about it. It was the wagon that they hauled the slaves in, mostly the men, and they called them bucks. And they had the buck wagon. They didn't have bars, they had something like lattice. The guillotine was there. I don't know where you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. I know what the guillotine is. Yes, sir.
Something that chop your head off. They had something else, I don't know what it's called, but you put your hands through it and clamp them down and clamp your head down. All this stuff was there where you could see it right there. I think they moved a lot of it because it was, creating a lot of havoc, I reckon, among the Black people. But there is some history there, brother.
Yes, sir. And my mother took us, myself and my siblings, to the home that you're referring to, sir. When we used to live in DC, she drove us there and took us to that. I vividly remember going to the home of Denmark Vesey, and I don't remember the guillotine and all that because we was real little, but I definitely remember her being like, this is Denmark Vesey's house. Y'all got to step on this. this is stones and all of this is the mark, you know, the ancestors came. So I vividly remember that, man. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. And thank you, sir, for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family for holding it down in Charleston, brother. We thank Allah for you, sir. My goodness.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, what was it like doing like the Jessie Jackson time period? What was that like for you? Like the Jessie Jackson running for president, and how did the community receive the nation during that time period?
Well, when Jesse first started running for president, he had no security.
Mm.
So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us, say, go around him wherever he's speaking in your area and you secure him. And Brother Akbar came in here. He was in, I think he was in Sumter, South Carolina, is where Reverend Jesse was speaking. And he was also at Johnson C. Smith. So we flanked him during that time, but later on they saw we were going to start something, so they gave him some security.
Mm-hmm.
But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, you know, pull back, but be there, and you know, just in case you're needed. So we followed him throughout his campaign in North and South Carolina.
That's incredible. Yes, sir. Okay, what about the Million Man March, sir? What was the climate like in Charleston, and how did it personally impact you?
Brother, the Million Man March was something that you don't know how to even talk about it. It's because it shown up was overwhelming. It was overwhelming, and the churches, you know, and we live in the Bible Belt, they call it.
Yes, sir.
I can go to a place right up the street and I can see 14 churches if I can walk 20 feet. I can see 14 churches. So you know this is the Bible Belt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the people here, they received that thing so well, because we had I don't remember how many buses. We had a lot of buses that left here going to the Million Man March, and the sisters was out in the parking lot cheering us on, you know, and it was really something. But you know what amazed me was about the Million Man March. They made us guess what was the #1 export to other countries at that time. And I know I got it. They say it's sweet. And they said no. I said, well, I have no idea. When they told me it was movies, the #1 export from America to other countries was movies. So all of these countries have saw New Jack City, Boys in the Hood, Men's Society, all of these different movies, and they have like an idea of what we are like. And that's how they treat you based upon the movies they see. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had to send us up all over the world so that they could see that that's a lie. And everywhere they went, the people say, we saw the Million Man March. And Dr. Aleem said this, next thing they would ask is, when are y'all coming to save us? Most people that would have saved. But we got a special condition, and it may take a little behind whooping to save us, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure. Okay, great. And thank everybody who continues to like, share, subscribe to the People's Podcast. And thank you again, Brother Minister Lee. My next question is, what is your greatest trial been in your life, and how have you overcome that trial?
My greatest trial is in becoming what I believe Allah put me on this earth to do. And if you don't mind me sharing it with you.
Yes, sir.
One night, one morning, I got up and I could not get fibroid tumors off my mind. Fibroid tumors. And sometimes I, kind of talk to Allah like I'm talking to you. But what are you bothering me about fibroid tumors for? And I'm not a doctor, I'm considered as a farmer. And so this brother that was a computer whiz, I called him and I said, give me all the information that you can get me on fibroid tumors. That evening, I told him to take his time. He came to me with about a quarter of an inch of 11 by 14 piece of note typewriter paper that had information about fibroid tumors. Mm. And when I read this information, I saw that some of the fibroid tumors had tooth, teeth, and hair. Mm. So I got busy and I knew that nitrogen was one of the major factors that they were producing food with that was wrong. And so nitrogen excite the sexual hormones in anything that plants, animal, anything that you put it on. And they put liquid nitrogen on some of our food 7 times. And if it's designed to excite the sexual hormones, I said, well, that's why we have fallopian tube, uterus cancer, or breast cancer. Men got prostate cancer because it's sexually orientated. And I knew right then that a certain amount of the cancer was coming from the food. And I called Brother Jabril, and this is what he told me. He's kind of short with me. It kind of bothered me a little bit. He said, Brother Lee, what you want? What you call me for? And, and I told him what I was calling him for. He told me, say, well, don't put no information out there until you can prove what you say. And I said, man, I have to become a chemist in order to do that. He said, well, that's what you have to do. Mm-hmm. Now, I was angry when I got off that phone, but I knew what I had to do. So I started studying chemistry. And then, so I know now, and beyond a doubt, that my job is to help create the new food for the new world. I have to be a part of it some kind of way. And so you'll have to know something about chemistry in order to do it.
Beautiful. All praises to God. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, what has been your greatest joy in life, sir?
Well, I guess, I don't know. Just, I'll tell you what, I got into horses.
Okay.
I mean, one time, because when we got this was before this, when we got the property back in Dawson, Georgia, Don Bridges, the man that had the property, gave the minister a horse. And he was a black stallion. He was a Tennessee Walker black stallion, but I had horses all the time. I had quarter horses. And every time we get up to go to the field, he was a stallion. He done broke loose and gone somewhere bothering somebody's males and stuff, and we had to go try to chase him down before you could go to the field. So we were wasting a lot of time. I called the minister and I said, let me take him home with me. He said, take him. So I brought, his name was Jack, and I brought Jack on here with me, and he stayed here at my house about 2 years. And then one day the minister called me and told me to bring him back. He was at the New Buffalo, Michigan, and I got a trailer and took him to New Buffalo, Michigan. But the horses was one of the most exciting times other than the Million Man March. There are horse events, black horse events that is had. The first one I went to was second to the Million Man March. That's how the people make you feel. When you go there, somebody is offering you something to eat, drink, smoke, dip, or chew. When you leave, they're still offering you something to eat, drink, smoke, dip, or chew.
Yes, sir.
You will never be treated better than if you go to the Black Horse events. And they still having them now. They got a group named Ebony Horseman in Shelby, North Carolina. They're the top boys now. And they got a chapter out of New York. Just about everywhere you can think about has got chapters of horse events. And I don't know what it is about the horse people. They got that same spirit that we had back in the Mars, back in the 80s. That's the same spirit that these horsemen have. Now,
okay, great. Yes, sir. Okay, well, we have a few more questions for you, Brother Minister. But before we get started, we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this month. I want to thank everyone who sends donations, cash apps, which truly appreciate it. Please continue your support, cash app to the People's Podcast. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Thank you very much. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Please get her books. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studios in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Rock Communications, if you're working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Rock Communications. Also, Fashion Gods Urban Streetwear for men and boys, 314-329-6009. They'll keep you dressed, fresh, dripping fresh. Man, reach out to them. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad out of Austin, Texas. Conflict mediation, squashing the beef. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, Children of the Most High, Giving Birth to a God and the Science of Child Rearing. Please get that book. Sister Sherry Muhammad, AsiaticMinds.com. They teach STEM virtually to young kings and queens all across the country. AsiaticMinds.com. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services. And my father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Right back to Brother Minister Lee. Brother Minister, will you ever write a book on your life, sir?
I don't think I'd like to write a book on my life. If I write a book, it would be about chemistry.
Okay, about chemistry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It would be about chemistry and learning chemistry from the common sense way. See, when they teach us subject, they teach us the hard way to where you'll never learn it. But if you, what got me so interested in chemistry, I said I wanted to be mostly like a farmer, but I wanted to farm the best way. And I said, who is the greatest farmer I know? Allah is the greatest farmer I know. and I start studying the woods, how the woods would survive if nobody ever goes into them to feed a tree, to prune a tree,
Yes, sir.
to anything, the woods will survive. And I say, why? Everything does what it is supposed to do. Total submission to God. That's why it will survive. So, what do the trees eat? I'm saying the most expensive fertilizer you can buy now is cricket crap. I don't know whether you know that. Then that would be the number one fertilizer. Number two maybe would be worm castings, and you know, so forth and so on. But I would love to have a laboratory because I think that snail slime would be number one. But I have to prove it.
Yes, sir.
But so everything depends upon something else. The trees drop the leaves, give the worms a place to hide from the birds. So the crickets is under the leaves. How everything does what it's supposed to do, that's why it survived.
Yes, sir.
If we ever learn that, if we ever learn that as brothers and sisters, period, we can survive. But we go against that. And when we go against that, we kind of nullify our right to just keep on keeping on. There was an Indian named Russell Means. I don't know where you remember him. Russell Means, Ernie Long Walker, Juanetta Long Wolf. You don't remember them?
No, sir.
There was a year that we had the theme of Savior Day was Let Us Unite, and he talked about the red star and the blue star. Ernie Long Walker and Russell Means was on stage. Juanetta Long Wolf was on stage. And I got where I knew Russell Means pretty good, and I learned a lot from him. You know how the greetings of the Indians, the Lakota Indians, a lot of them, Mitakawape, and it's all my relations. Everything that has life is related. So I would, if I were to write a book, it would have to be on common sense chemistry.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, great. My next question for you, sir, is what advice would you give to future husbands?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you what. The first thing that we have to correct is the male-female relationship. If we don't correct that, all the other stuff that we talking about is not going to happen.
Yes, sir.
So the male-female relationship has to be corrected first. So I'll tell you what, I would get some advice from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I would get his male-female relationship tapes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would definitely study them, but a Torchlight for America, I don't know whether you remember it or not.
Yes, sir. I'm familiar.
He talked about promoting unity between the sexes. And he said the natures of the male and the female are made different to complement, C-O-L, P-L-E-M-E-N-T, I-N-T. And the E-N-T means to make complete. So without us knowing our knowledge, our connection to God, the man has to know his connection. The woman has to know her connection.
Yes, sir.
Because the natures are made different to complement each other. Okay? Without the connection to God, it works against you. So that's what's happening to us now. We go into it looking at it wrong.
Yes, sir. Great teaching, bro, minister. And people are showing you love in the comments. And Captain Deshane said all praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I put it together, bro, Captain. Okay, boom. My next question for you, sir, is what type of music do you listen to?
I love jazz. That's okay. Not what I play. I play what was said. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But jazz is the music that I love. And I've always had took my music very serious. And I was a guitar player, and one of my favorite guitar players was a guy named Eric Gale. I don't know what you ever heard of him. Steve Gadd, Cornell Dupree, all of these guys, it was jazz. So if you caught rock and roll bands just jamming for themselves, they would be trying to play jazz.
Okay.
We really loved it. But some of our musicians now, they were much greater musicians than we thought. I didn't know James Brown was as good a musician that he was. I never knew it. But if Luciano Pavarotti mess with you, musician.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He did This Is a Man's World with James Brown.
I'm definitely gonna look that up on YouTube too, sir. Okay, great. And my uncle, Minister Jamil, says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. Boom. Okay, yes, sir. My next question for you, sir, is what do you want your legacy to be, bro, Minister?
You know, I thought about that. I was watching this cowboy movie once, and this man said, when he went out, he wanted 6 white horses pulling the hearse, and he wanted to slam the door behind him. And at my father's funeral, I thought to myself, I hope I can reach my mark up there somewhere close to hills. That's what I thought about. And I want to go out trying. I just got started with with the agriculture, because a new agriculture, we have to come up with a new agriculture, because the land is so bad till we have to learn how to make topsoil. Dr. George Washington Carver warned us against that. So now I'm in the process of making topsoil. You can take the proper topsoil, and you don't have to have large places to raise food. You just have to do it with the proper soil. And, we need good soil, and we don't have it because our ancestors farmed it cotton until it tore the land down. And Dr. George Washington Carver was trying to get us to plant peanuts, and peanut is a land builder. Plant wheat, let it grow up about 8-10 inches, and cut it under. Take care of the land. The earth is a living planet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It does everything that every living organism do. We have to consider that as farmers. So we have to pet the land. We have to take care of the land, and we have to care for the land. And that is what we don't do. So I would want to go, if I go out, I want to go out kicking and trying to introduce ways of making topsoil and ways of raising large amounts of food in small amounts of land. We got a farm in Dawson, Georgia. We got one in New Buffalo, Michigan. We have one in some other parts of Michigan. But each city, the cities are too large. The food has to come from too far. By the time you get food from Florida and California, it's dead. So you're feeding dead food to living people. The food has to come out of the field directly to the kitchen, prepare, and you eat living food, and that produces life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that in the commission, that was one of my recommendations, that when we get this place, we're gonna have to knock the cities down and start them all over again. And the food source must come in from the perimeter of the city.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. And thank you. And thank everybody who's watching. But, Bro Minister, I want to thank you once again on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast for your coming on the People's Podcast, but for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family. May Allah continue to bless you, sir. Inshallah, I look forward to meeting you one day in person to further, have a conversation with you. This means a lot that you will come on People's Podcast. I know it's going to inspire a lot of people once I put it on YouTube. Thank you again, brother, for setting it up for us. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, that's a long, brother. Well,